Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Educational AD Podcast. We're going to be right back with today's guest, but as always, we're going to give a shout out to our sponsors. Now, remember, these are all companies that I used as an AD. They are all great companies. You should be using them too. So take a couple minutes, listen to our shout outs, then listen to our interview, and then go and visit these sponsors. I'm telling you, you're going to be glad you did. Here we go. We want to say thanks to our good friends at Vital Signs Wall of Fame. If you're looking for a really cool way to display your school record boards or your school's Hall of Fame, go to their website, check out their interactive touchscreen video consoles. You put one of these in your gym lobby or your main school hallway, it's going to be a magnet for kids, coaches, sponsors. That's vitalsignswalloffame.com. Check them out today. We also want to thank our friends at Huddle. As a head coach, I used Huddle for years. As an AD, we were a Huddle school. Go to huddle.com. Your coaches, your student athletes, even your parents are going to love all the tools that the Huddle platform provides. Join the 8 million users. Go to huddle.com and turn your school into a Huddle school. We also want to thank our friends at Home Campus. Home Campus is the official high school sports administration software platform for a number of states, thousands of ADs, and could be you. Even if your state has a different platform, you can be a home campus school. And I'm telling you, the athletic clearance and eligibility platform alone, you got to check it out. Just go to homecampus.com. Don't forget to mention the podcast to see everything they can do for you. We also want to thank our friends at Snap Raise. Have you ever spent weeks and weeks with a fundraiser and been disappointed in the results? Well, those days are gone. Go to snapraise.com. We used it at our school, and it was a tremendous success for multiple teams. Go to SnapRaise and check out all their other great platforms. But if you're looking for a fundraiser, you just found it, and it's SnapRaise. We also want to say thanks to Gipper. Go to Gipper.com. Let their team turn you into a social media marketing genius for your school. Whether it's a simple social media post to celebrate a victory or an entire newsletter to showcase all the great things that your program's doing, the team at Gipper will have you up and running in no time. It's professional graphic design made easy. Go to Gipper.com. Don't forget to mention the podcast. That's Gipper.com. We also want to say thanks to our friends at Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. Schedule a live web demo to see their products in action. Probably one of our best purchases ever was our Sideline Interactive indoor score table. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. Schedule that demo today. We also want to thank Ohio University and their online masters. My assistant athletic director, along with thousands of others, got his master's through the Ohio University program. And while he was doing it, he also completed 11 NIAAA leadership training courses at no extra charge. Check out Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. We also want to say thanks to Hometown. Hometown is still changing the game for schools and organizations with their suite of solutions that includes things like big surprise digital ticketing. But how about athletic website construction, fee-free fundraising, and a whole lot more? Go to hometown.com. Whether you're an AD, principal, even a head coach, they're going to show you how to save time, raise more money, and bring your community together. That's hometown.com. And we want to thank Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. At my school, we use surveys for just about everything. Kids, coaches, parents, and the information that would come back was almost always over the top positive, and it'll be the same for you. Sure, we got to hear from those squeaky wheel parents, but it gave us a chance to address their concerns before they turned into something big. But having all of that positive data, I can't tell you how valuable that was, especially when you're talking with a parent or your principal or even your school board. Go to athleticsurveys.com. They're going to create a custom survey that lets you take the pulse of everybody in your program. That's athleticsurveys.com.
The greens.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Educational AD Podcast. We're going to Colorado today, and our guest is Cory Heitz. Cory has a tremendous background in coaching and athletics and administration, promotion. We're going to dive into all of that later. But Cory Heitz, welcome to the Educational AD.
Jake, it's a pleasure to be here.
Well, you and I were talking before the show. We were introduced by a mutual friend, Kirsten Jones, who has a great book out there. Regular listeners will recognize Kirsten's name. Uh, Cory, we always like to let our listeners have a chance to get to know our guests. So give us your quick bio. Take us on that journey. Where'd you grow up? Maybe through high school and college. Then we'll take a break. But what's the Cory Heitz origin story?
Yeah, so my dad and mom met at West Virginia University, and my dad was the first 7-footer to play there. And so I grew up my first 11 years in Parkersburg, West Virginia. And then my dad's baby brother played for the University of Kentucky, and we kept going to Lexington to watch him play. And so we moved to Lexington when I was 11, and I graduated high school from Lexington Catholic, which is now a national powerhouse Nike elite school. And from there, I went to do a post-grad year at a prep school. I went to the Air Force Academy's prep school, and then my dream was to play D1. And my only options at that time was to go to one of the military academies. So I chose to play in the Air Force Academy's program, and then graduated from there. Spent 5 years as an officer, which bad timing because 9/11 happened, right? So I had to deal with all the fun that came with that. And then when my 5-year commitment was up, I took about 3 years off to travel the world, grow my hair out, grow a beard, not have anyone tell me what to do, and then got to work with my dad in Kentucky. Started doing some real estate development, and I started coaching high school ball with some of my old teammates from high school, and loved that. Did that for about 3 years in Kentucky at Lexington Christian High School. We had a couple D1 players, a lot of good wins there, and then I moved to Washington D.C. to be with my now wife, and got a job there at another national powerhouse called Gonzaga College High School. And loved it there. Was there for 2 years with Steve Turner, who was the Gatorade National Coach of the Year, and he just now took over the Montverde Academy program in Florida. So yeah.
Well, I want to hear about all that. Montverde, that's about a 20-minute drive from where we live in Central Florida. So there's another connection. I want to go all the way back to West Virginia. Now, I've been to West Virginia a couple times. I actually spoke at their state AD conference this past spring. A few years ago, our family did some mission work in some small towns in West Virginia, some really poor towns. I know West Virginia is very diverse, but when I think of West Virginia, I'm old enough. I'm in basketball. I'm thinking about Jerry West. Okay, were there any Jerry West stories growing up for you as a kid in West Virginia, or is that just too far removed?
That was too far removed from me, but I remember growing up, I went to every summer I went to the West Virginia basketball camp, even when I was too young, just because my dad, went back to play, went back to see his buddies, and he wanted to expose me to the alma mater. So I grew up being a big West Virginia basketball fan. Football, we went to every game, and Jeff Hostetler and Major Harris were my two favorite players growing up. But my dad knew Jerry, rest in peace to him, because my dad was about, I think, 5 or 10 years after. I can't remember the exact dates, but my dad did, when he was a senior, recruit Bobby Huggins. Right. So he took Bobby Huggins around campus, showed him a good time, and they've been friends ever since. So for a lot of the time that Bobby was at West Virginia, my dad and I would go see a road game in the Big 12. We'd fly with the team or meet him there. And my dad's not a hugger, but Bobby would always come up and give my dad a big hug. And so, yeah, that's his big West Virginia connection.
Oh, I love those stories. I love the connections. And what a shock. Huggins is a hugger. Okay. Nobody would have believed that. Let's talk about your prep experience. I'm a big moments guy. Can you think back to a moment, high school, even college? Well, I want to talk about the Air Force Academy too, that maybe at the time as a kid, 16, 17-year-old, it didn't seem like much. But now looking back, through a coach's eyes with experience and perspective, you can look at that moment all the way back in high school and say, hey, that was a big moment for me. Anything come to mind for you?
Yeah. So transferring is a big thing right now, right? Both in high school level, AU level, college level. And halfway through my sophomore year in high school, I was at another public school and just wasn't going well. I wasn't even playing JV. I mean, I was 6'5", skinny, still growing into my body. And we decided I needed to transfer to a better fit academically, socially, basketball wise. We transferred to Lexington Catholic, which was the number one team in the state, had one of the top 10 players in the country on the team who I had to back up. And immediately that team embraced me. And the coach said, you are going to play here with us. You're not just going to be on the team, you're going to play with us. So I went from not playing on JV to getting minutes, like scrub minutes, mind you, for
Sure.
the number one team in the state a few weeks later. And that coach believed in me. His name is Danny Haney. He's at Windermere Prep, uh, near your neck of the woods too, near Orlando. And that belief right there changed everything for me because I did not have that belief at my first high school. And no, I knew like I was going to play D1 and wanted to. Like I had five members of my family before me play D1. So like I just assumed that was my path and that's what I was going towards. Had no idea that I was going to get shut down at my first high school and just really talk too negatively. But that belief that that coach Danny Haney had in me the first time I transferred there was great because I was thrown into the lion's nest. I mean, there were such good players in this team. They almost won a state title the year before. They lost on a last second shot. And that first practice, we were going against our first game was against Alvin Sims, who was averaging 40 points a game in high school. Ended up playing at Louisville and then the NBA. And that first practice, I was Alvin Sims. So he's like, every time you get the ball, shoot it. So I'm going from JV practice to now playing with the number one team in the state, and I'm a future NBA player on the scout team, and just getting it and chucking it and getting hammered, and everyone's stronger, and but they all were welcoming, and I kind of had a new confidence that yeah, I'll get this, it's going to come. So yeah, that moment from that Coach Haney really changed things.
Wow, what a great story. And it just so, yeah, we hear it so often that, the relationships and, embracing culture, family, all that stuff that's cliche, but it's cliche because it's true. Okay. Having an impact on kids and a program. Great stuff. All right, let's go and jump to Air Force Academy. Um, certainly not somebody that you think of when you think Sweet 16 or something like that, but still that's a very competitive level. What are some of your memories about playing for the Air Force Academy?
Yeah. So when I went to prep school there, we met some of my best friends ever, and about half of our prep school team actually went on to the academy. The other half decided they didn't want to do the military. And the best friends of my life are from that basketball team, and I was on the JV team. To give you some context here, my father's 7 feet tall. His brother that played at Oklahoma was 6'11". The one that played at Kentucky was 6'9". My cousin, she's 6'5". She played at Morehead State. And then my other cousin, Brad Miller, 7'1". He played in the NBA for 14 years, right? So I've been 6'7" since 16 years old. So I just assumed, like everyone else, I was going to be 7 feet like my
Mhm.
family. And my mom's 5'8", so we had tall genes on her side too.
Okay, yeah, that
So I went
helps.
in the
That
Air
helps. Yeah.
Force. It helps. I went in the Air Force, and I'm the white David Robinson, right? Like I'm going to get there at 6'7", and I'm going to hit my growth spurt, be player of the year, top 50 NBA players. Like you're welcome, right? That's my attitude that I had. And when I got there, I was still 6'7". I've been 6'7". I'm still 6'7" at 48 years old. I've been 6'7", 32 years and didn't hit my spurt. So I had to play in the Air Force JV program. And the JV program was great. We had a coach named Dave Taylor, one of my best friends, the best coach I've played for. We had a system that we pressed the whole game, especially with the altitude we were at. We were in the best shape possible. We press teams. We looked for mismatches, kept things very simple. He believed in us. Um, and that was very great freshman sophomore year. He did so good because our Air Force varsity team was not successful. He got promoted by the athletic director to put some of that winning into the varsity team. And mind you, the varsity team in the WAC at that time, we've got TCU, we've got Utah, right, that played against Kentucky in the finals that year, New Mexico, Fresno State with Chris Herron. Like it was a monster league. And our team, varsity, might have won 1 or 2 games a year. And they always beat like a ranked team, right? That's how our coach kind of kept his job. But JV, my final year I played was junior year, and we had a new coach come in, and we won 2 games, and I was the only junior on the team, and like I realized my basketball dream was kind of coming to an end, and it was a miserable year. So I wanted to quit halfway through, and I'm not really a quitter, but I had to call my parents a lot and say I hate this. We went from winning 30 games to now I'm the team captain. We're getting our ass kicked. I don't agree with the new coach. I'm probably not going to play varsity next year. Like, why should I continue playing? And I stuck it through. I didn't feel any sense of relief or accomplishment sticking it through, right? Like some people do when they do something hard. It just felt like a slog to get through. But it teaches you learn it just as much from losing as you do from winning. You learn just as much from a bad leader as you do a good leader,
Yeah.
right? So I learned a lot of during that time that I incorporated into coaching. Um, and it's just different coaching styles you're around just gives you different perspective that you can take forward. But the biggest thing once again, is relationships, right? Like we laugh now about some of those games we lost, or some of those long 10-hour road trips to a JUCO in Wyoming. I look back on that fondly, but was it easy? Not one bit. Because you got the basketball, then you got the military, then you got the hard engineering school on top of
Right.
it, and all the leadership stuff. So it was not, I talk to a lot of kids now in my business, which we'll get to, about being D1 or bust. And I probably should have gone to a D3 school, which was liberal arts, and played, done a major I enjoyed. But I was D1 or bust, and the military academies were the only ones recruiting me, even though I didn't really want to do the military. So that's what I chose, Jake.
Well, again, we appreciate you for that decision, and thank you for your service. Um, Great stuff. I'd love to continue this, but we're going to take a break. We are going to come back. Our guest today is Cory Heitz, but let's hear from a couple of our sponsors. This is the Educational AD Podcast. We want to say thanks to our good friends at Huddle. As a head football coach, I used Huddle for years, but when I became an athletic director, I made sure that our school was a Huddle school, and our coaches just loved the tools that the Huddle platform provides. Our student athletes love the videos, even our parents love the streaming, but there's a whole lot more. Go to huddle.com, join the 8 million users, and turn your school into a Huddle school. We also want to thank our friends at Vital Signs Wall of Fame. If you're looking for a really cool way to display your school record boards for all the teams, for all of their different events, or how about showing off your school's Hall of Fame? Go to Vital Signs Wall of Fame and take a look at their interactive touch screen. That's right, touch screen video consoles. You put one of these in your gym lobby or your main school hallway, it's going to be a magnet for kids, for coaches, how about teachers, even parents, and of course, sponsors. Go to Vital Signs Wall of Fame. Make sure you mention the podcast. That's Vital Signs Wall of Fame. You're going to be very glad you did. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to the Educational AD Podcast. We're visiting today with Cory Heitz. He's the founder of Prep Athletics and a whole lot more. Cory, you started sharing your journey earlier, post college. Can you do that again and just kind of outline your journey that's brought you to present day? We have a lot of younger ADs and younger leaders that listen. I think it's important for them to hear about the journey that we all take to kind of get us where we're at. So, what's the Cory Heitz journey to success?
Yeah, so good question, Jake. So I did, like I mentioned, I was D1 or bust, and I was backing up a 6'7" All-American at my high school, who ended up playing for Billy Donovan at Marshall. And I just needed more time to get stronger, hit my growth spurt, get more time on the court, right? Because we were such a good team. And so I went to the Air Force Academy's prep school for a post-grad year. And my college coach, or my high school coach, kind of knew about it, because my cousin, Brad Miller, who I just mentioned, played in the NBA for 14 years. He went to prep school for his senior year of high school, right? So he had an issue that happened during senior year, so he needed to leave his school, and he went to Maine Central Institute, and he has said over and over again, without prep school, he would not have made it to the NBA, right? So with him doing that and seeing the success, I did it myself. So without prep school, our family trajectory, Jake, is completely different, right? So fast forward to 2008, I'm coaching in Whistler, British Columbia, right? My first head coaching job, and I meet a player up there who's really good, right? He's from Vancouver, 6'3", Croatian, Canadian, who's just tough, good player. And I found out that I could get him in a prep school, and I did. I made some strings, and Brad, right, who played in the NBA, sponsored this kid, sent him to his old prep school, and he got an NAIA scholarship out of it, right? So then I started when I moved to Kentucky, I started helping a few kids there get scholarships to prep schools, and some had to pay for it. And they ended up, going to do a post-grad year and ended up going D1. So then I started calling prep schools, started visiting. And now 17 years later, we've turned it into a full-blown international consulting company. And I've placed kids at 59 different prep schools from over 39 different countries. And I've visited probably 110 prep schools in person. So my whole thing now, my whole niche, Jake, is to help let people know around the world, ADs included, that prep school is an option. In fact, it needs to be an option now with the college game getting so much older, right? And the transfer portal happening. College coaches at most levels aren't recruiting high school kids anymore. right? You've got to be 1 year older. You got to be 19 now. You got to be more physically developed, and you need to have an advocate. This, like we've talked about, and we're going to talk about more, this whole thing's about relationships, right? These prep school coaches in basketball specifically have great relationships with college coaches, both from the high major level down to high academic D3 to everything in between, right? So if I'm a player these days and I'm playing at a normal high school or for an AAU team, there's a good chance those guys don't have contacts or don't know how to place players. If you go to prep school, that coach has to place you at the right fit in college, right? So in this day and age, prep school is even more valuable now than it was even 5 years ago, pre-COVID. So what I do now is I help families from around the world take the 100 prep schools that are out there in the US and I narrow it down to the right fit for each kid and family based on their academics, how good they are on the court, what kind of experience they want, and finances, right? So think of me as like a concierge for families looking at the prep school for an option for their child.
Right, and I want to comment on something that you said earlier about Montverde Academy. Montverde. If you're not familiar with it, I can't imagine that most of our listeners are not. But if you are not familiar, it's a school here in Florida, and they're a regular high school. They have college prep courses. They have academic excellence quite high, and oh, by the way, they also have athletic programs. And talking about their boys basketball program, three of their, let's say, seniors from this last year's Montverde team were first round draft choices in this year's NBA. One of them, Cooper Flagg, was the number one. And there was a fourth member of that team, if you will, that was drafted in the second round. So if you're and this is Jake talking, this isn't Cory talking, but if you're a coach or you're an AD at your school and you're saying, and I've heard people say this at conferences before, if you're thinking, oh, Montverde is stealing my player. Well, no, they're not, because you don't have a number one draft pick. Okay. This only 6% of high school kids go on to play college athletics. And I don't know what the percentage is, but it's a lot less than that get drafted and play at the professional level. So these prep schools exist not to take your players, but to allow those players that have those gifts and tools to be successful within their, let's say, bring out all of their potential. Now, Cory, you heard what Jake just said. Was I off base? Was I close to being right? What are your thoughts on that?
ADs and coaches that have their players leave to go to prep schools get upset, right? Um, but these players want something more, right? That they're not getting at their current situation. Now, I will do a caveat in here. I do not agree at all with prep schools poaching kids from current high schools, right? I don't agree with that. And I never poach a kid or go on the offense for an underclassman. I just don't do it because I think ideally, in an ideal world, everyone finishes their high school career with their high school. I wish I would have finished at my first high school, but I needed to transfer to a better fit, right? I didn't know everything when I went to that big high school to start ninth grade year until I was there for a year and a half. And just like with some of these high schools, it's just not the right fit. We see it all the time now with AAU and colleges. It's not the right fit. Same with marriages. 50% of marriages end in divorce because it's not the right fit. So I'm a proponent, though, of a kid leaving a situation and finding something that's a better fit that's going to bring out more in him emotionally, maturity wise, maybe academically and basketball wise. Like when people in business, right, leave a current job to go get a promotion or do an upgrade, or get paid more money, right, or move to a better location, or like LeBron when he chooses to go somewhere to try to win a championship, like we don't fault them. So why are we going to fault a kid who wants to leave their current situation to go to a better fitting prep school, right? So Montverde, they've got their main national team. They got about five other developmental teams. Those kids are coming from all over the world because they want to get better to play basketball. And I guarantee you, they all want to play in college, right? So they're doing what they have to do to get ahead in their career field, right? Which is basketball. So I don't fault that at all. So ADs and high school coaches, if you don't like that, make a product that kids don't want to leave. And look, what I tell high school coaches all the time is, keep them there. And then if they need to go to prep school, we'll
Right.
have them after graduation do a post grad year. Right. But each family, Jake, is different and what they want. I had a kid in seventh grade that wanted to come to prep school, and the parents were for it. And there are junior prep schools, junior boarding schools for that specific kid. I think that's too young, but there are tennis players and golf pros that are
Mhm.
young, and they do this all the time. So, like, why stop in the basketball world? So, I get all sides of it, but you just got to put out a good product if you want people to stay or come to it.
No, and here in Florida, I'll as I travel around the country doing programs for ADs and coaches, they'll talk about transfers, and I say, hey, Florida at high school, we've had the transfer portal for a long time because of the state legislature allows it. A kid can play sports at one school, can attend the school, play in the fall. At the end of that fall season, that kid can legally transfer to another school, play a winter sport, and then in the spring, they can do it again. They can play at three different schools in one year because it's a state statute. Okay. Nobody in Florida, no coach in Florida likes it, but it's what we have. And so to your credit, this is what I tell coaches all the time. Hey, make your program so good culture wise that the kid doesn't want to transfer. And if they do, hey, wish them the best and focus on the kids that want to be in your program, the focus on the kids that are staying. And again, the percentages, because it's easier to transfer in Florida, we have a higher rate of well, transfers than any other state. But at the same time, it's still, it's not an epidemic. It's not the sky is falling. I wish the law wasn't there, but it is. So that's what we're going to work with.
Yeah, and I'll say this too. If you look at an NBA roster, there's kids on there from prep schools, there's kids on there internationally, there's kids on there from JUCOs, there's kids on there from regular high schools, kids on there from private schools. Like there's no one path to get you there. Like Brewster Academy and Oak Hill, they've sent tons of kids to the NBA. Just because you go there does not mean you're going to get a ticket to the NBA, right?
Mhm.
So it's yeah.
Right. And one more thing, and then we'll get off this topic. I think we've done a great job. Um, Only 6% of the kids are going to go to college, So as a high school coach, are you focusing on the 6% at the expense of the 94% on your roster? Let's give those kids a great high school experience too. I hear coaches all the time talk about, oh, it's for the kids, it's for the kids. And no, you're talking about it's for your star. And we don't want to ignore the star, okay, but we don't want to ignore the rest of the team too. Um, let's go and take another break. And when we come back, I want to take a deep dive into your organization, Prep Athletics, what it is, how it helps kids, and how our listeners can find out more. So, listeners, please stay with us. This is the Educational AD Podcast. We also want to say thanks to our good friends at Home Campus. Home Campus is the official high school sports administration platform for a number of states, for thousands of ADs, and you can be a home campus school even if your state has a different platform. So go to homecampus.com and check it out. Check them out. I'm telling you, their athletic clearance and eligibility platform, you got to see it to believe it. It's a game changer. Go to homecampus.com to find out all the things that they can do for you. We'd also like to say thanks to Snap Raise. Have you ever spent weeks and weeks with a fundraiser and been disappointed in the results? Well, those days are gone. Go to snapraise.com. We used it at our school with our teams with tremendous success year after year. Our coaches loved it. Our parents loved it. It works. Go to snapraise.com. Check out all their other great platforms. But if you're looking for a fundraiser, you just found it, and it's Snap Raise. We also want to say thank you to Gipper. Go to Gipper.com and let their team turn you into a social media marketing genius. Whether it's a simple social media post to celebrate a big win or an entire newsletter to showcase all the great things that your athletic department is doing, the team at Gipper will have you up and running in no time. It's professional graphic design made easy. Go to Gipper.com. Don't forget to mention the podcast. That's Gipper.com. And we want to say thanks to Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Go to their website and you can schedule a live web demo to see their products in action. Probably one of the best purchases I ever made was our Sideline Interactive indoor score table. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. As always, don't forget to mention the podcast. That's sidelineinteractive.com. Welcome back, everybody, to the Educational AD Podcast. Once again, our guest today is Cory Heitz. He's a longtime coach, promoter, entrepreneur, and he's also the founder of an organization called Prep Athletics. Cory, can you share with our listeners, what's the Prep Athletics origin story and how does it impact them?
Yeah. So, like I mentioned, my cousin, without prep school, not going to the NBA. For me, without prep school, I'm not playing in a D1 program, right? So it changed our family's trajectories. And there's so many options out there for families. And it's just like D1. There's different characteristics and personalities at each place, right? Like Eastern Washington is D1, so is Duke, right? But they couldn't be more different. And it's the same in the prep school world. One thing I do want to talk about, Jake, is the difference between a basketball academy and a brick and mortar prep school, right? So I work with brick and mortar prep schools, and then you get your pop-up basketball academies. You and I right now, Jake, on this call could start Jake and Cory's basketball academy, and all we need is a van, a court, and a house, right? That's it. We don't need really good academics. We don't need adult oversight. We don't need accreditation. And there have been many that have come and gone. A lot of good intentions out there, but a lot not the best intentions. And even big time ones have not made it. Like Kanye West had a basketball academy. It lasted less than a year until he went on an anti-Semitic rant, right? So what I'm talking about are brick and mortar prep schools. Now, there's a couple academies I do work with that I've vetted and that I trust and that are doing it the right way. And those include Link Year Prep in Missouri, DME Academy in Florida, and then IMG Academy in Florida, right? Worked with DME and IMG for years. They do good products, are in it for the right reasons. Same with Link here, right? But we're talking about brick and mortar prep schools mostly, which are like mini college campuses. They're accredited. They've got dorms. They've got boiler rooms. They've got administrative offices, alumni networks. And they help kids get to the next level. There's a 99.9% matriculation rate from prep schools to high schools. And so what do? Right? So I help families that are looking to take this route, whether it's as an underclassman or as a post grad, and find the right fitting one. Because there are prep schools, right, that have 10 D1 guys in the roster. There are prep schools that have maybe barely a D3 walk on, and then there's everything in between. You've got military prep schools, you've got single sex prep schools, you've got prep schools in cities, you've got prep schools in the middle of nowhere. Some are big, some are small. Prep schools like Exeter have a $1.4 billion endowment. Others are barely keeping the doors open unless they get Chinese students that are full pay, right? Some have bodies buried in them. Some are great, right? I know all of this, right? Because I've been doing this 17 years. I've made mistakes along the way, absolutely. But through that time, I've learned like, all right, these schools are a good fit for this type of kid. These big time players probably need to look at this program. This program does a great job developing big men, right? This program is very good for Eastern Europeans. This one might be better for Africans. It all depends, right? And this comes through trial and error and doing this for so long. And once again, talking to people, watching games, having experience. So if anyone ever has any questions about the prep school world, I highly suggest they go to my website, prepathletics.com. We also have a podcast on there where we interview prep school coaches at all different levels. We answer questions about financial aid, scholarships, development, college placement, academics. Everything you need to pick a prep school is on my website for free, right? I want it to be a resource. I want to share it with the world, ADs, high school coaches. I'm here to help you and help your players and students make the right decision, right? Now, if they want more hand-holding, if they want insurance to make sure they're talking to the right fitting prep schools, then you hire me. And then you get my 17 years of experience, you get all the IP I've built up, and you get my relationships with these coaches because working with me gives you an unfair advantage because I know these guys. I've placed kids with them before. When I reach out to them about a player, they take it seriously. They look at him and they let me know yes or no, whether they're interested or not pretty quickly, right? And I help families through the whole process. And I never tell my families where to go, Jake. I put them in front of the right fitting prep schools and I want them to pick the best fit for their kid, right? So I'm going to take care of your kids if they come my way. Just know I'm boutique, right? I'm not like a giant placement agency that takes on thousands of kids and looking to make numbers. No, no, no. I take on about 45 to 50 kids a year. Everyone that joins is part of the family for the rest of their life, right? I do not take this lightly. I vet everyone that comes through. For about every 30 kids that come through, I take on one as a client because not every kid that comes through is worthy of one of these limited prep school spots, right? There's only so many roster spots out there, and you've got kids all over the world trying to get them. So I'm very selective to make sure I'm not going to take you on as a client unless I can help you. And I'm a straight shooter with families too, right? Like I'm not going to tell a family they can't afford it that this is going to be the magic pill. I will tell families, okay, try JUCO, try NAIA, try maybe playing intramurals at the college. That's a better fit for you, right? And it's not for everybody. Basketball is not fair, Jake. Most sports aren't fair, but that also preps you for life, right? Life is not always fair either. And if you want to get into college, if you want to get into a prep school, get better grades, be a better player, be coachable, do all the little things, right? This is all in your control. There's no secrets out there. Everything you need to know is on YouTube. Every time you watch a basketball game or football game, those coaches are giving you free lessons if you listen to them, right? Because those guys either played or coached. There's constant education happening listening to these games, right? So I help families navigate this world. I usually tell them the truth when a lot of other people in their life might not have. And it's not to be cruel, it's just to let them know this is the reality. This is what prep school admission departments are looking for. This is what prep school coaches are looking for. And last thing I'll say, Jake, is it's so much harder to place kids now in a college with the transfer portal, with NIL money, and you need an advocate, right? No one's better than a prep school coach for doing this, right? And they're going to hold your hand, they're going to walk you through it. They've got experience. And to me, that's the most important part of prep school is the coach. And that's what I tell my families. You're going to get all the benefits of prep school at any of the places I connect you with. What's the defining difference? It's the coach, right?
Boy, again, I appreciate the depth that you're sharing about it, and I love the difference that you focused. The pop-up basketball academy versus the brick and mortar prep school, real school. Um, I know you've got probably hundreds, maybe more, success stories that you could share. Can you share one? You don't have to mention names or anything, but talk about how what you do had an impact for a kid, for a family. Because again, I think it's important that our listeners have a chance to hear about. And again, everything you said, the good fit. Can you share a success story with us?
Yeah, so a young man named Philip Rabracha was brought to his attention when he was in Colorado here from a family friend, and 6'8", from Serbia. His dad played in the NBA. I think he won a title with the Pistons. So, I got another story about a kid that comes from nothing, right? So we're going to contrast these two. But he came to Colorado, barely played because of transfer rules and state associations. He also missed another year of high school ball with mono, right? So he didn't play essentially 2 years of high school ball. We got him into a prep school in Massachusetts called Williston Northampton for Coach Ben Farmer, right? Philip ends up having a great year there. They scrounge. In May, he signs with North Dakota, right? D1 program and starts there, starts all 3 years, makes honorable mention all conference, and then the coach leaves. And he graduated in 3 years. So he put his name in the portal and ended up going to Iowa and then starting for 2 years at Iowa when they were ranked 10th in the nation. He became honorable mention all Big Ten, and then now he's playing pro in Europe. So that's a kid that had nothing, even though he had a good pedigree, right, with his family name and the genetics. He had nothing until he went to prep school. And even at the end of prep school, once again, he had a coach hustling for him who had contacts that got him D1. And then after 3 years of kicking butt at lower levels, ended up playing at the highest level possible on a really good team, right? So that's a success story there, a kid who had nothing. If he hadn't gone post grad, he'd be playing at junior college in Colorado and probably would have ended up D1, or he'd have gone D2 in Colorado. So excuse me. So prep school really changed his life. Let's talk about the other end of the spectrum. A couple of years ago, a 15-year-old from a refugee camp in Kenya emailed me. Not his uncle, not a handler, not an agent, not NBA Africa, a 15-year-old who said he was 7'1" from South Sudan, 15 years old. Can I help him? Now, I get emails a lot from Africa. It's always outdoor courts. It's sometimes from an agent. It's sometimes some kids wanting money, whatever. But this kid reaching out on his own at 15 really piqued my interest, Jake. So I worked with a prep school in Georgia called Rabun Gap, and they said, we will give him a full ride, right? So they paid for plane tickets, visas, fees, brought him over here. His English wasn't that great. The academic transcript he presented wasn't great because he had learning disabilities, didn't have a very good baseline. And after a year, the school said, we can't keep him here. He just can't hang academically. Transferred him for 2 years and got a full ride for him at a school called West Nottingham, which is the oldest prep school in the country. It was around before America was a country. He was there for 2 years. They helped work on him with academics and whatnot. And then for his last year, I wanted to put him at a good prep school where he could really get polished. And I transferred. And then West Nottingham had some money changes, and it wasn't going to work there. I didn't move him just to move him. We had the school had new leadership and wanted to move a different direction. So we put him at South Kent for a year, and he had to take summer school the past 3 years, algebra, English, not easy stuff for him. But with his host mother's help, with the school's help, he ended up graduating with like a 2.8 and signed D2 for a full ride with Tusculum University in Tennessee, right? So this kid, right, 4 years previously is in a refugee camp, which are some of the most horrible places on the planet. And now through hard work, he is going to college for free at a D2 school, right? Now, unfortunately, with the way the current administration is going, they revoked all visas for people from South Sudan for about 2 days, and that put us in a big tizzy. And we're talking to lawyers, prep schools, and officials, colleges in Canada. It made things interesting for this young man. But we got his visa all settled, and I've been his guardian for this whole time. So he's part of our family now. So, like I said earlier, like if you join prep athletics, you're part of the family. Well, he was literally part of our family because I was signing for him as his guardian because his family has no computer. They have no phones. They're somewhere in the refugee camp, somewhere in South Sudan where they're still fighting. And the work he put in was just absolutely unbelievable. So proud of him and excited to see him progress, in his college career.
Wow. Now, how many more years eligibility does he have collegiately?
So he'll be starting as a freshman this fall.
Wow. Okay. What just so incredible. I don't even know what question I want to ask, but I'll ask this for our listeners. If they want to find out more, okay. And again, listeners, this is not, Cory's not looking at your rival high school. He's not trying to poach your kids. He's working with a very narrow group of prospects here. Cory, if they want to reach out and find out more, and listeners, I encourage you to do so. What's the best way to find out more about prep athletics and Cory Heitz?
Yeah, prepathletics.com. It's very simple. And if you've got a player who's a senior, right? Because let's assume everyone's staying at your high schools and graduating. The best time to look at prep school is going to be in the fall of their senior year, right? That way we can have a conversation to see if it works. We can start looking at prep schools in the fall before the season starts. Some prep schools you can sign with in the fall. And then you can relax your whole senior season and play knowing that you've got an extra year waiting for you. So kids that do that, Jake, they don't press. Like some kids that are trying to, get that college spot or like try to take more shots and try to make the tougher play. If kids know they've got an insurance plan waiting for them, which is a post-grad year, they play a lot more relaxed, right? So my homepage at prepathletics.com, we got a big red button that says free assessment. Click on there, put in your bio, your highlights, your grade, all that stuff. And then the next question will be, next page will take you to is financial because these prep schools are not free. Not all of them are cheap. I do have different options from IMG down to more affordable, but it's not free, but there is chance for financial aid. The young man I just mentioned got a full scholarship being 7'1". And I got podcasts and videos about how much prep school costs, articles, because that's usually the biggest question we have.
Right.
More than happy to answer that. But anyone can reach out. All the information that you need is on that website, whether it's videos or articles or podcasts. I want it all to be out there free as a resource for people. But like I said, you got any other questions? I get back to every single person that emails me, and email is the best. It's Cory at prepathletics.com, and Cory is Cory, the correct spelling of Cory, I might say. There's no E in there. And and yeah, reach out to me because I just want to spread the good word about this. And I just want you as ADs and coaches to know this option exists, right? You don't have to use me. I'm not trying to poach anybody. But if you've got a kid, I can at least tell you if this is an option or not. And if it is an option, I can make sure they're talking to the right, safe coaches, right? Safe environments, unlike some of these pop-ups that are out there. And I only want to help the kids, right? Like the more kids we can help, the better. And if you play another sport, we are starting to expand to other sports now. And worst case, if we have not expanded to one yet, I know someone, I'm a phone call away from finding an expert in that sport. So please feel free to reach out to me. This is a resource for you. This is a resource that AAU coaches use, that high school coaches use. Is like, come here, play for us. We'll help place you. And by the way, if I can't place you in college, we've got Cory that can help you with the prep school route. So Just here to help and make sure everyone knows how this game works, knows the difference between basketball academies and prep schools, and just has enough information possible to make the best decision for their kids.
Right. And it's to me, it's such a win-win. Have your kids stay at your school, have a great senior year, have fun, do all the great things that you can do at a high school that you can't do other places, and then you've got the post grad year to focus, get better, get stronger, and get a better college opportunity. Great stuff. Cory, I wish we could go on and on, but we don't have that time. But we're not done yet. We always wrap up with the athletic director's toolbox. Now, you're not an AD, but you certainly know your way around the world of athletics. We're going to take a final break, hear from a couple sponsors, including Athletic Surveys, who sponsor this segment. When we come back, I'm going to challenge you to send out a brand new AD on their very first job, but I'm only going to let you put 3 items in their toolbox. So let's hear from our sponsors. And when we come back, we're going to find out what's going to go into Cory Heitz's athletic director toolbox. We want to thank our good friends at Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. It's very affordable. It's just 20 months and it's totally online. My assistant AD, along with thousands of others, got his master's through the Ohio program. And while he did it, he also completed 11 NIAAA leadership training courses at no extra charge. Check out Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. We also want to thank Hometown. Hometown is still changing the game for ADs and coaches with their suite of solutions that includes things like fee-free fundraising, digital ticketing, athletic website construction, and a whole lot more. Go to hometown.com. Whether you're a principal, an athletic director, even a coach, they're going to show you how to save time, raise more money, and bring your community together. It's hometown.com. And we want to thank Athletic Surveys. At my school, we use surveys for everything: kids, coaches, teachers, even parents. And Athletic Surveys will create a custom survey just for your school so you can take the pulse of everybody in your program. You probably already hear from those squeaky wheels, and they'll be a part of the survey too, but you also get to hear from the 98% that supports your program. And that information is incredibly valuable, especially if you're visiting with your principal or even your school board. Go to Athletic Surveys, let them create that survey for you and help you take your program from good to great. Well, it's that time of the podcast. We've been visiting today with Cory Heitz, incredible background in athletics and coaching and leadership, also the founder of Prep Athletics. But right now, I'm going to challenge him to send out a brand new AD on their first job, but I'm only going to let him put 3 things in the toolbox. So, Cory, what's going to go into your new athletic director toolbox?
Yeah, it's going to be a trope that people have said on your podcast before, but it's relationships. I mean, I've got a director of operations in our company. It's just 2 of us, and basically, if we had to put a sign on our wall, it'd be, "We have no business unless we have relationships," whether that be with families, with players, with administrators, with coaches. Like if I don't have a relationship with coaches, none of this works. Right. So it's all about relationships. So when it comes to an AD, you've got to have it with the parents, you got to have it with the players, you got to have it with the coaches under you, the other administrators. And then I would say also, reach out and meet the other ADs in your area, which you'll do through meetings anyway. But you guys can share notes. I know it's competitive, but relationships is number one. There's a couple other guys that do what I do. I make sure that we stay in touch. We trade notes because once again, I'm trying to help them. They're trying to help me. Our mission at the end of the day is help kids. So know what your mission is, but relationships going to help you accomplish that, right? Number 2 would be learn how to master AI. Now, AI has been the big buzzy word for the past couple of years. It is coming. I know a lot of us, the Luddites, don't want to deal with it and are never going to touch it. That's fine. It's coming either way. The kids are using it. Parents are using it. We started incorporating it. My assistant is younger than me. He's into this, and we've been incorporating it quite a bit with our podcasts, some of our research. I use it now almost exclusively for my search engine because if I go to Google, I'm going to get what the algorithm tells me I need to see. ChatGPT just tells me the answer, right? Without the algorithm mixed in. So I would start learning how to use that in whatever ways you can as an AD. And then lastly, it would be making sure you have a good assistant AD, right? I've known a lot of assistant ADs throughout the years because I've coached with a lot of them and worked with them. And a lot of prep school coaches are either ADs or assistant ADs as well. And if you can have a person you can lead and take a lot off your plate to where you can focus on the bigger ticket items and the ones that are most pertinent to your job and your school, train a good person under you, and it will make your life so much easier. And as well, that's only going to help them become an AD one day and AD one day and have the skill set they need, right? So relationships, start mastering AI, and have a good assistant. Those are my three tips for you, Jake.
Oh, I love them. And you're absolutely right about AI. When it first started to, I guess maybe hit, the AD world, I know there's a lot of skepticism, but I use it. I'm going to say I don't use it every day, but I use it frequently. And you're absolutely right. It's incredible. I love how you came back to relationships. You hit on that multiple times during our talk today. And way to give a shout out for that assistant AD or that administrative assistant. So critical. One more time, if one of our listeners wants to reach out and find out more, how do they do it?
Prepathletics.com. All my contact information's on there. Would love to hear from you. And if there's any way I can help, please let me know. And just so you know, Jake, our mutual contact, Kirsten Jones, who helped us get on the podcast, she sent her two boys to prep school, and that's how we connected. So, yeah,
Oh,
it's all full
again,
circle.
it just keeps building. I love it. Great stuff. Um, for our listeners, thanks again for tuning in to this episode. Please, check out Cory and Prep Athletics. And we post all of this on YouTube. It's on Spotify. We try to do this just about every day, share stories and best practices. So come back and join us again on the next episode of the Educational AD. Hey, before we go, thanks again for listening. Make sure you check out our sponsors. And, that was Cory Heitz, Prep Athletics. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time on the Educational AD Podcast.